The problem being that I got these at the same time that the second DVD was coming out. And here's the problem with these. Because they're 3D printed, that means it takes a little bit of money to print them. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. So it just costs $7 on its own just to print this tiny Lego-sized Poyo. And if I'm going to make any money off of it, that means I need to make it like $15. Or actually $13 for this one. There is a blue version of this, which is slightly better material than the I think this is just resin version, and that is the issue there. I would like to know if you people would be interested in buying the white unpainted version for $13 and the nicer quality version for $15, because that costs a little bit more to do that. So I want to ask that. I want to gauge some interest because I've also talked to Trent and Greg from Isle of Rangoon, who are also doing the whatchamacallit. Also doing the BMOG toys. They've talked before about the possibility of doing some BMOG tie-in toys for Atop the Fourth Wall, including another version of Poyo like that, or a Comicron one, or possibly some other stuff that, yeah. So, yeah, people are saying they'd be interested in purchasing them, and I'd make it public. I can't sell it with the DVD because they're from two entirely different companies, unfortunately. So, let's get the post video up. But, yeah, people seem interested. That's a good thing. Eat it. I could eat it, but I don't think it'll taste very good. No. I have to admit that this review was difficult for me to write. One of the reasons why Atop the Fourth Wall focuses on the bad stuff is because it's harder to snark and crack jokes about stuff that's good. And even then, while it's fairly easy to break down why something is bad, it's rather difficult to explain to someone why something is good, since it really comes down to personal preference. Still, March of the Titans proved to be a success in the eyes of the fans, so it's likely we'll be doing something like it next year with a different series. We'll be right back with number 2 on the Fan Favorite Countdown in just a moment.
As mentioned before, when originally conceived, the Entity storyline did not have a clear endpoint. However, there was an idea for an ending that ended up being completely scrapped. I originally thought that each storyline's ending would be of a Power Rangers comic and fight, since that's what happened with Mechakara's defeat. That changed when Linkara fought Mechakara again in the Power Rangers Zeo #1 review, and I decided that reviewing another Power Rangers comic so soon after the last one for the finale would exhaust viewers. The originally conceived ending for the Entity arc would have featured Linkara fighting a static image of the Entity in Missing Number form with the Quasar Saber from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Why a static image? Because I was so exhausted from previous fight scenes that I had filmed that I figured fighting a static image that I edited in later would be easier on me. Fortunately, I came to my senses and realized how stupid that would be. You're watching the Atop the Fourth Wall 300th episode Celebration Livestream.
Hey Linkara, it's AWD from Electronic Heroes, and I just wanted to say congratulations on your 300th birthday. I thought I'd take the time to celebrate by talking about a game that you starred in.
Hatris is the very little-known sequel to the famous Tetris series created by Bulletproof Software, ironically found cancelled due to machine gun fire. You star as epically bearded Chaos D1s that work in a hat factory that must stack hats in order to sell them. You can stack several different hats, like Derbies, the Mr. Lincoln Special, the Sorcerer's Apprentice Party Hat, the Royal Crown, McDonald's employee caps, and Linkara's fedora. The only thing missing is the magic gun to shoot this abomination.
So let's give 3 hats to Linkara. Hat hat, hooray! Hat hat, hooray! Ha, you get the idea. So congratulations on 300 episodes of wonderful comic reviews, and I hope that you continue with such gems such as the Mario manga and the King of Fighters for Coma. But seriously, congratulations, dude. It's been a long time. I've been watching your videos ever since probably the 4th one since I've known you, and honestly, you've been a big inspiration to me in my videos as well, and I read a lot of comics as well, and I really like your advice, and seriously, it's been a long way, and it's amazing. So, happy 300th episode. We hope you continue making these videos as wonderful as you have been, and we will continue to enjoy them. Enjoy the rest of the stream, folks.
And now, excerpts from the Super Dictionary with that guy with the hat. Pay. The penguin didn't pay for his shovel. He didn't give money for the shovel. He should have paid for it. The police may pay him a visit. They may make a visit to his house. As I said earlier, there were lots of ideas developed for the Gunslinger arc that never made it to fruition. Some were as simple as, say, more details about the guns Jarrus possessed, modeling them after zodiac signs or tarot cards. A more concrete idea would have featured Linkara encountering a warrior who was attempting to impede his path, similar to the obstacles from Suburban Nights. He would have been played by Lana Pator if he had accepted, and Linkara would have easily dispatched him, but then been forced to come rescue him to prove that he wasn't going to become a villain. Due to time constraints on the storyline, especially the addition of the Holokara stuff, it was deemed unnecessary and dropped. You're watching the Atop the Fourth Wall 300th episode celebration livestream.
And we're back for this bit. Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby. I'm going to get Alpha Sapphire. Number 3 was JLA/Titans, the Technus Imperative. And in a bit, I'm going to do the thing for number 2. No, all those guns are not children who were sacrificed. As we established with Jarrus's gun, the different magic guns have different histories behind them. It's something I can do as a storytelling engine later on for a storyline. Because remember, Jarrus's gun is not a dead kid. It's powered by the love with his wife, who's back in the other universe. As long as both of them are still alive, the gun will keep working. Why is the video off-center? I don't know. You might need to refresh the page. Otherwise, it looks center for me on the stream. The video itself might be off-center because I have to keep adjusting the size of it because the different videos have different aspect ratios. Yeah, so Lanny instead became my government liaison. Actually, I offered the role of Alan to Ed Glaser first. He turned me down, but that happens. And you know what? Lanny does it very well. All right. So, how would you like... Should we... send it for you guys. I'm going to do Alpha Sapphire because when I first played Ruby and Sapphire, which I played on an emulator... What shirt am I wearing? I'm wearing a blank gray shirt and this short sleeve shirt with like dragons on it. When I first played, I first played Sapphire, but I played on an emulator because at that point I had fallen off of the Pokemon love for a while, so I'm just like, I'll play this. And like, man, Gen 3 is not my favorite, sorry to say, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I replayed Emerald in anticipation of X and Y, and I had a lot of fun with that. So I will be playing it, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. So, am I going to ever come to a convention in Kansas City? I would love to. The problem being, as I keep saying, I need to be invited to a convention to go to it because I can't afford to go to conventions otherwise. The only exception I make is MagFest, and even then, it's always a loss. Even with the DVDs this last time, it was still... Actually, the last time was actually pretty good because I roomed with a few people and I sold a whole bunch of DVDs, so actually that one was a profit. But we'll see about this time for MagFest. They've moved Midwest Media Expo. They've moved Swagfest, so hopefully that won't be a problem. Don't worry, Jarrus's gun will not stop working because that would mean his wife was dead, and I don't really want to do that. Don't worry. I think we've had enough feels for a while, but we'll see. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. MagFest is in Maryland. All right. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. All of these episodes that I've been playing today were voted on in a recent survey I ran on the website. I unfortunately had to shut it down after 2,000 responses due to the survey software charging me for each additional response after the 1,000 marker had been passed, though I doubt we would have gotten much different results. On that survey, I also asked people what their favorite storyline on the show was, assuming they watched the storyline. This episode is the conclusion to that storyline, and it's a doozy. Behold, childhood nightmares brought to life. The last man on Earth stands face to face with a god. Some things should not be. There are some paths we were never meant to cross, and some beings we were never meant to see. Number 2 on our fan-favorite countdown is Pokemon, the Electric Tale of Pikachu, and the conclusion of the Entity Arc. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, yeah, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, look, tricorder. Oh, look, Pokedex. Oh, me, oh, my, oh, me. That episode is fun. Before I get to the post thing here, I will say that since this episode had came out, I've examined more deeply the Pokemon universe because, as you may have noticed by my Twitter feed, I have really gotten back into Pokemon in the last year or two. I've got a lot of tricorders. Space Cannon. I got a lot of tricorders, and I've gotten back into Pokemon. So here's the thing about Pokemon. I make a lot of jokes in this episode about forcing the Pokemon to fight. The thing is, in the Pokemon universe, from a sociological perspective, from the Pokemon want to be caught. They want to be caught, they want to fight, they want to battle. The problem is that they want a trainer that's worthy of them. So they will gladly fight for someone to a certain point, but if they get stronger than their current level, then they're not going to listen anymore. Or whatnot. They have their own personalities and whatnot, and if they feel that their trainer is not worth it, they're not going to obey, stuff like that. Because they want to do well for them. They want to make friends. They want to be able to battle and have fun with that and prove how strong and great they are. Others just, otherwise, they're just happy, just, living out their own existence until they get caught. So, yeah. Anyway, the Entity Arc also happens to be my favorite storyline. I have a passion for horror, and this story was most certainly designed to frighten. Originally planned to be released in February, like all other storylines have been, I pushed the storyline up when I realized that Halloween fell on a Monday. How could I resist posting the conclusion to a horror-themed storyline on Halloween? Well, it almost didn't happen. Editing the video was extensive, and I was working on it late into the day, finally getting it out during prime time. In fact, after this episode premiered, I went back and had to put in stuff later because it just was taking too long. I had to cut corners, like at the end, 90s Kid's eyes, you notice, no longer had the glitch effect around that. I did that mostly as a time-saving measure, and you could say that because the entity was losing its grip on reality, it no longer could maintain that appearance. I had Phalus come in later on and do the effect of me walking around 90s Kid, because I was trying to do that myself and took a full day. He did it in an hour, mostly because he pointed out, well, why don't I just put the mask around 90s Kid who's standing still, and then Linkara could just walk around him. And I was just like, because I'd been trying to animate it entirely around Linkara walking around him, because I'm kind of an idiot like that. Most people on That Guy with the Glasses didn't end up seeing this until November 1st, which kind of ruined the Halloween mystique, but hey, it happens.